How often, and maybe it happens less now, but how often do you stop yourself in the middle of writing something and say to yourself, nobody fucking cares?
Every day.
Yeah, still.
Every day. Whenever I finish something, I'm convinced that I'm going to be exposed as a charlatan, and people are going to say, well, he's nothing to write about, he's no good, you know. And then you start to fill up again, you start to read again, you start to think, and then I think I've got nothing to write about anymore. But then what happens is you develop a new sort of obsession. But nearly every day I think, this is not going to work. This is not going to.
So how do you, back to the teaching piece of it, how do you build up the muscle, the personality that seems like is every writer, that they're the most insecure, confident people you know?
They are. Yeah, and they're selfish and selfless at the same time. They're an absolute mess of contradictions. Also, I mean, the fact that one might believe that you have something to say is a spectacular act of arrogance, right? It's really crazy, and yet you have to have the humility to listen to the other voices that are around. So you have this arrogance to say, "Ooh, I have something that I'm going to access," and you have to have the humility and silence to listen to it in order to be loud about it at some stage. And really, when you talk about writers, they are a wonderful collision of these vast opposites, much more so than other professions. They are at the extreme here, and these extremes come together and they create sparks.
And to me, and I don't know if you said it, but I want to think that you did, that really the whole key is to get to those places where you're open to everything.
Yes. Yeah. I want to go to those places. I want to be an explorer. The way I think about it is, I get in a boat every morning and I want to go and find the Galapagos Islands, right? Or want to go find another Galapagos. Most of the time, I end up capsizing. Sometimes I capsize right on the beach. Like you hop in a kayak and you turn it over. Then sometimes you get beyond the waves. You get beyond the initial waves, which is the hardest thing to do in a kayak, and you still turn. But if you can get far enough out, and then you find some sort of territory that nobody's explored before, and that's really the territory of the human heart, and then you go in there and you try to make sense of these new creatures that are there, these Galapagosan creatures that appear in your imagination, and that's fun. One of the things that maybe I should have talked more about it in this little book was that writing can be difficult, but being a carpenter is difficult, being a policeman is difficult, being a teacher is difficult, but it's also a tremendous amount of fun to embark on these different journeys. I mean, I love it personally. I feel like I go to college again over and over every time I write another book.